Hey, hello everybody. Welcome.
Hello!
Bienvenidos. Welcome to another episode of The Grand Slam. Of course, I'm your host here, Edgar, and I am here with my two lovely other hosts right over here. We got Robin and a bottle of whiskey.
Guten Tag, yeah, hello. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, why would a bottle of whiskey sound like this? Well, I'm an import. And as we all know, if imports, this is how you sound.
Oh, yeah.
Ask me where I'm from.
Where are you from? Where are you from?
Canada. From Canada, I'm a bottle of Canadian whiskey.
Mr.
And they just sound like this. That's all they sound like.
Ooh,
Jabberwock 02 has accepted the burger.
yes. Thank you for accepting the burger, Jabberwocker. I hope I'm saying the name right. It disappeared
I think
before I
it's
could say it.
It's
Jabberwock.
Jabberwock. That's our
Yeah.
buddy, Alex.
Ah,
Hey,
yeah.
Alex.
Thank you for accepting the burger. I really hope you got the burger that you liked. It should be perfect in the perfect temperature and everything all in perfection, top shape. The burger should be great for you. It should be wonderful. Thank you for following us. And we'll do it to Captain Vulgar as well because he did sub to us in the pre-show. So we do want to thank Captain Vulgar for to following us here too as well. And
We appreciate you, Boo Boo.
we appreciate you guys. We highly appreciate you. You. Yeah, that's right. You. I'm pointing at you, chat. You. We appreciate you. Excuse me. But yeah. The question, of course, I gotta ask you guys. Always gotta ask you guys on the show. How are you guys doing? How's your week been going by since we did the last show?
Okay.
Okay, well, how about I go since you can't
Yeah,
speak
You
right
go.
now?
You go. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was in the
This
middle of
is
the
some-
conversation also.
This is some dead air. How's your week going? I don't understand your accent. And Robin's just like, well, you. Anyway, my week went fine. I did things and such with people. I'm just kidding. It's a pandemic. There's nothing we can do. We can only be on the internet or in our rooms. So yeah, that's pretty much what I did. I want to point out, and actually I have a question, Edgar.
Yes.
We haven't known each other for that long. How did you get to the point where you knew that I was a bottle of whiskey?
Oh.
Because that's not incorrect. It was just a little startling that you just knew it.
It first started off, I was going through Google and I'm like, okay, let's see what picture we changed for Will today. And we had you as Scott Pilgrim the last episode, which, by the way, check out if you haven't seen it. And
Oh yeah, yeah. Here's I'll post the link to it very shortly.
Yes. So, I'm just, scrolling through Google looking to see what images. And I'm like, you know what? Let me, I think I know what to do. I'm like, why not? I don't know. Alcohol just came into my mind when I thought of Thanksgiving for some reason. And then, so I typed in, on Google, a bottle of scotch. And then the first image I got was his bottle and it said a bottle of whiskey. I'm like, okay. And I'm like, we'll go with that one. I was going to go for one that did have a name on it, but I didn't know if that would have been like, since it is a name of alcohol, I don't know if it would be allowed through YouTube or Twitch. So I'm like, let's go for an empty.
Also, branding, and we cannot afford it.
Yeah.
I've already talked to the accountant after last week's dog incident where, Jesus, we could not have afforded those dogs.
That xenomorph set us back so much.
Yeah.
It really did, and on top of that, the damn Halloween episodes already ate up a bunch of our Thanksgiving budget.
Yeah.
And, I mean, okay, but guys, we set some money aside.
Oh yeah.
And our Christmas budget is gonna be great.
It's gonna be
Now,
a good one.
It might not be because of, scheduling, it might not be as many episodes, but the episodes we have, they're gonna be big.
Yeah.
They're gonna be big.
Let's just say, even though there are gonna be some, some setbacks a bit, we're working on it. We're working on the Christmas one because we wanted to make it nice and great and even better than what we did for Halloween. So we got stuff behind that we'll show you later in the future. We'll show you.
Yeah, you'll see. Get excited. Also, a reminder that once we get affiliate.
Oh yes.
Once we get affiliate, guys, gals, non-binary pals, I buy Minecraft. I shell out that money. I buy Minecraft, and you get to see me do what Minecraft is. I don't know what Minecraft is. I've seen some videos. I understand the basic principle. You dig, and there's fish. Oh, yeah. That's about all I know. And these guys apparently are gonna make me play hardcore mode, which I don't know what that means. So once we get affiliate,
you see,
exactly, Captain Vulgar.
Captain Vulgar.
Once we get affiliate.
Where I believe, since we got 2 people, let's double check. I want to double check how many people we have as followers right now. We have a total of let's scroll through here. I know I'm looking through everything. We have we have 29 followers right now on the Twitch, which thank you to the people who followed today. Thank you for that. We got 2 new followers, and we have our 29. We are close to the 50 mark, but I do want to give a shout out to the people who subbed on YouTube. We did hit 41 subscribers on YouTube, which again, thank you guys so much. We're close to the 50 mark, close to the halfway mark. And let's see.
Getting 50.
Getting 50 on YouTube, which is cool. We may be small, but we're very humble. We're always happy to see new people come in and join the fun. And hey, if you are some of the people on YouTube who subscribe, follow us here. Get us affiliated. We want Will to play Minecraft with us, and
I'd love to.
And we promise
we might be small, but we're mighty and we're proud.
Yeah.
We're like dwarves from Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah.
Which we are not going to have a conversation about right now, Robin. We'll fill y'all in one of these days. We're gonna fill all of you in on why we're not having that conversation with Robin in the room.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna talk about it now. Not in front of the kids.
I was gonna say one of these days we will have the official Grand Slam Lord of the Rings review podcast of all 3 films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I will rewatch them again just so I can do the review.
That's all.
That's all we're getting. We're moving on. So yeah. And guys, I dropped the link to our YouTube, the last episode we had on YouTube. If y'all aren't subscribed on YouTube, give us a subscribe there. Thank you all for following us here. We appreciate it. Guys, there was some kind of game news you wanted to talk about. There was a list of some kind of a thing. What's happening?
Oh yeah. It's not the hugest thing, but recently they just announced the nominees for the another season of the Game Awards, hosted by Jeff Keighley. And usually a lot of people go into the Game Awards for the games because when it comes to the game,
and they're all of the Game Awards, but they also show like world premieres of new games coming out.
Yeah.
Although this year may be a bit different because a lot of games have been pushed back because of the pandemic, so we may not get a whole lot. Yeah. I will say before this is still a video game news, and before we start talking about the Game Awards nominations for some of them, there is one big game that was announced recently, and that I'm super stoked for because it's a new James Bond game. So the people IO Interactive, the guys who made the Hitman series, are making a James Bond game. and it's coming. It's still an untitled game. They're just calling it Project 007 for now.
Yeah.
And we have very little details about it, which I guess this is a bit of like the player 2 coming out in me for this.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I'm very excited for this game to come out. It's no longer in the grubby hands of Activision, the title of the license to use 007. We're going to have, I'm hoping this is going to be a great game, just like before EA went horribly wrong, back when EA had the rights to the Bond franchise, and they had great games for that, for the Bond games.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this will be good. And what I've learned is that this is going to be an origin story game.
Really?
So I remember talking to my brother about like, do you think it's going to either be they're going to have a Daniel Craig likeness, or do you think they're just going to go with like a completely new looking Bond? Which I'm pretty sure, and I'm hoping it's the latter. It's also going to be the first original story since 007 Bloodstone, which was a Activision game, which was terrible.
For me, I think the only Bond game that I knew that a lot of people always was praising was the one that was made by Rare, which is GoldenEye 007.
Yeah, GoldenEye it's one of the first big first-person shooters. I mean, it's as big as Doom. It's the first multiplayer first-person shooter game, and it's just a really good game. But no, like there's a lot of Bond games that came out that was by EA that are really good that I recommend. Like, if you somehow get your hands on Nightfire and Agent Underfire, those are two really good games. GoldenEye Rogue Agent, which came out later, it's okay. I have a bit of sentimental value with it because it's a nostalgia thing, but I think when I try to play it again, it's probably not going to be a good game.
Yeah. And this is made by the people who the company that does the Hitman games, right?
Yeah. So this is, which I thought, like, when because of the new Hitman games, and since IOI has gone completely independent, even like from Square Enix, and they all three of the new Hitman games that came out, that was all independently made by IOI, were all fantastic. Were really great games. Well, at least the first two. We don't know about the third one yet. The third one's not out yet. Yeah. But I'm just so happy that it's IOI. Because like, if there's going to be any studio that's going to be making a James Bond game, I'm happy that it's IOI that's making a James Bond game.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yes. I agree with Soppy Carnivore. That's a forgotten gem. 007 Everything or Nothing is a great James Bond game.
That's shout out to our boy Rico who just put that in chat. Nice.
It's a third person Bond game, and when I played it the first time, I can't find it anywhere now.
Where was it launched originally?
It was launched on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and 360, I think. And also PS3. Yeah. But it was like and the PS3. I can't find it anywhere.
Have you tried looking like on eBay maybe they would have it at the at like those not like GameStop or anything, like those pawn, not pawn I guess you could say, but like those actual like game stores.
Okay, that's just a lot of things.
I know. I couldn't speak.
You mean a retro game store?
Retro game store. There you go.
Okay, yeah. I mean, they may have it there. I can try to look because oh man, that's a hidden gem. It's a good game.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my thing. For that little news, let's get on to the actual game awards.
Game awards. Yeah. That was an actual interesting thing. I've never played the Hitman games, but they always look interesting to me. Now that you have a PS4, I'd recommend getting them. Yeah, true that.
So yeah.
But that way, guys, we're gonna talk about the Game Awards, but we're not gonna talk all about the nominations.
Jesus Christ! Did you just exorcise a demon from you?
Oh,
You rub an egg on your forehead. That's how you get the bad out. Santeria.
I had a sandwich today, and I could taste the bologna.
You had a sandwich today. Okay, well, I don't want to know what happens when you have a bean burrito, my friend.
You had a sandwich today, but how long ago was it?
Yeah.
It's like all right.
But yes, Captain Vulgar. Yeah, I have not played Hades yet. I've heard a lot of good things, and I do want to get into that like when we get to these. But of course, we're only gonna go through like some of them, not like best like Twitch or like best all the other things that don't like apply
words.
To us. Words. So let's start. I want to start off with.
Let's finish with Game of the Year.
Yeah,
let's finish that one. That's the last one.
Mm-hmm. So
let's start with best narrative.
Best narrative.
How about that?
Alrighty. So with best narrative, damn, they're scrolling all these things. For best narrative, for outstanding storytelling and narrative development in a game, we got 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, and The Last of Us Part 2. Those are what is nominated right now.
Oh, they don't have Among Us up there. Gosh, guys, Among Us is so good.
Among Us is nominated twice, which is strange to be honest, because that game came out 2 years ago, but it's nominated for games here, which is weird.
It's weird that it's nominated for this year because it's not a game that came out this year, but. Then again, neither did Call of Duty Mobile.
True that.
So
some of their categories right now are very weird. But back to narrative. I want to say with Robin, what for you first? What are your thoughts with
Okay. So I want to first say that what's awesome about the Game Awards is that you can vote yourself on what. What ends up winning is what the people chooses. So, which is what I like about the system. They have a quote unquote academy that picks the nominations, but the gamers are the ones who pick who wins. So if you can go to the Game Awards website, sign in with either Google, Facebook, or Twitter, and then you can vote for what you want. Just by the way, but I chose Ghost of Tsushima. Out of all of the ones that are there, the only two that I've played was Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us Part 2. And I know how much Last of Us Part 2 is very divisive, especially for the narrative perspective. For me, I enjoyed it, but I would not pick it because Ghost of Tsushima was just a better story to me. It was a lot more original than just... They're both revenge stories, but to me, Ghost of Tsushima has a sudden... It's just because of the Japanese culture influence within the story just makes it a whole lot better. And it's something new also compared to a post-apocalyptic zombies mission. But there's other stuff in Last of Us Part 2 for the narrative that's very I don't want to get into because of how controversial it is.
Yeah. I will say...
And
go on.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Okay.
That's my take. That's my take.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, I haven't... what I'm gonna go with these because I haven't played all these games. There are some that are on my list that I really want to play, but I have looked into a lot of these games. Like I know about a lot of controversy that was going on with The Last of Us Part 2. A lot, like when it came out, like it was always because, which we'll get into, because I do have a prediction with The Last of Us Part 2, which my thought, I have this feeling. It's gonna be. It might be like what Death Stranding was, where it was nominated for all these things, but it's only gonna win one, and it's gonna be one that we'll go to in a bit, which is I think Robin kind of knows which one I'm thinking of. But with these games, a lot of people are thinking. My bet for the nominations, I'm stuck between Ghost of Tsushima and Hades. The reason I think of those two, because I don't think. With 13 Sentinels, might be a surprise hit, but I've never heard a lot of popularity with that game, so I haven't even heard of it, honestly. Final Fantasy VII, it's that game is a big mixed bag. Just it's like Last of Us Part 2. It's like you could be in between, but like the majority is like either you love it or you hate it, and it's because of what they did with the story towards the end. A lot of people are like, it's really, I know what happens at the end of the story, but I don't want to spoil it for people who are fans of Final Fantasy VII.
I know me and Stefan had a conversation about like why did they even put Final Fantasy VII Remake, because it's a remake.
Yeah.
Like he was like, why did they put a remake on there? And I had to explain to him like it's because they did some changes story-wise within Final Fantasy VII. That's why it qualifies, because there is a difference between this version and the original version. It's the same thing with Resident Evil 2 remake.
Yeah,
there were big differences both graphically and story-wise between the two games.
But yeah,
so
I do want to give a shout out to Captain Vulgar, because he heard that 13 Sentinels is apparently narratively great, but he's heard nothing about the gameplay. Interesting. Because I haven't heard about 13 Sentinels. I'm like, maybe it is good, maybe it's not.
There's a reason. There's a reason why it's nominated for Best Narrative and not for Game of the Year.
It could end up like Disco Elysium, like it did last year, where it won more awards than usual, which that was shocking. But my gut's telling me it's either between Ghost of Tsushima or Hades with this category.
I think it's probably gonna be. Yeah, I agree that it's either Ghost of Tsushima or Hades, but I just think that it's gonna be Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Based on so like the ending for Ghost of Tsushima, without even saying anything about it, it's one of those things where it's like, oh fuck, that's a rip out my own heart and stomp it on the ground and like
I need to replay it again.
Because I've seen I saw a streamer here on Twitch play it, and I was just like, oh god, that's rough. What I think is great about the game is that when you're starting it up, you could choose to either play it in the regular version, where you see the colors and all that, black and white, which is called just samurai film, or you could play it in a version called Kurosawa mode, where they turn it into black and white and they added a film grade, and it's spoken in Japanese.
Damn, I feel like that's the way I would probably play it.
I played almost the whole game with that, because from time to time I switched back to colorful mode, but I kept it the entire game where they're speaking in Japanese.
And the color in the game is amazing.
It's so amazing.
It looks just by the look of it, it looks really like graphically itself. It looks fucking gorgeous.
And speaking of graphics, let's move on to the next one. Best art direction.
But just to end off the narrative one, I am between Ghost of Tsushima and Hades. But I do want to give Hades some credit, because I've heard and I've seen a lot of streamers play it recently, and I've seen the gameplay for Hades, and the gameplay looks like something I would love to death. It's one of those hidden ones, but yeah, it's in between those two. But let's go to game direction. You would say?
Art direction.
Oh, art direction. Yes, my bad. Oh, wait. I gotta go. So we got best art direction for outstanding creative and or technical achievement in artistic design and animation. We got Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and The Last of Us Part 2. This one, Robin? Sorry about that.
It's fine. This one, it's going to be really hard to pick one. I still ended up choosing Ghost of Tsushima because that game just looks fucking stunning. Like, yes, graphic wise, Last of Us Part 2 also looks really fucking great. I haven't seen much of Hades, so I can't say that. Or I've seen bits of Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That looks really good too. Final Fantasy VII Remake. It looks really good too. Like that's why I'm saying it's hard to pick from which ones of these.
Yeah, this is where I would feel like I'm on an opposite direction. I won't be really surprised if Tsushima wins it. I don't think Last of Us Part 2 or Final Fantasy VII is going to win it. The ones that I am actually thinking will lean to it because of the art direction, because I've seen it like from time, because I forgot who won Best Art Direction last year. but I know when Cuphead won, that was the only award it got for art direction because of how itself, like, the art looks fucking gorgeous. And I have Ori, I have the first Ori game, and man, the Ori games.
Control won last year.
Oh, Control.
For best art direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess because Control, like, you play Control, right?
I played bits of it. Like, I could see why it won best art direction because it does look really good, but I guess, gameplay wise, I can't get into it. But that's neither. It's whatever.
And that's what I feel when it comes to best art direction. Oh, excuse me. They don't. I guess when it comes to art direction, they're not looking for games that graphically itself look realistic or gorgeous like that. It's more of like the creativity with it. So that's why I won't be surprised if Tsushima wins it. But for me, I'm leaning towards Hades and Ori and the Will of the Wisp, and I'm giving my vote to Ori because I've seen gameplay of that game, and damn, that game looks so gorgeous, man. Just the art style and the way it moves around, like, it looks better than how the first Ori did, and the first Ori looks really beautiful. So that's what I'm leaning to when I give to that one. Final Fantasy VII reinterpretation. Yeah. So we got this one I do want to do, which is the best score and music for outstanding music.
Doom.
That's it. The Doom Award. Yeah, because here's it is. We have Doom Eternal, we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, Hades, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, and The Last of Us Part 2. Off the bat, Doom's gonna win it by Mick Gordon because out of all the soundtrack, I have listened to Doom. I haven't played Doom Eternal, but I've listened to the soundtrack of Doom Eternal. That shit makes me want to work out like crazy with it.
it's a fucking great soundtrack.
Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm sure, like, all the other ones are great. Like, Ori's music is really nice. Like, it's some beautiful music. I haven't heard.
Last of Us Part 2 has a good soundtrack. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but it's Doom. Doom Eternal is gonna win it.
Yeah,
there's no contest.
And that's my vote. I'm like, yeah, like all these categories. I'm like, yeah, sure. Final Fantasy VII, it's music. It's composed by like the best composers in the Final Fantasy VII or in the Final Fantasy VII orchestra and all these stuff. But I don't know. It's an easy win for Doom. I will be surprised if someone else wins it, but I don't really think the only one that I really think should win this award is Mick Gordon, because he did another amazing job with the soundtrack for Doom Eternal, man. Like that one song that had in one of the trailers, I listen to that like every day, and it gets me super pumped.
I agree with Frank here, saying the Doom original soundtrack is just so raw.
Yeah,
and yeah, it is.
Did the first Doom win best score during the Game Awards, or was it not nominated?
It came out 2016, I think, is when the first Doom came out. Let me check 2017.
Yeah. Where's it at here? But like,
it might not be under 20. No. Okay, let me go back one more.
Because I think 2016 was the year Overwatch won Game of the Year.
Yeah. Doom won best music sound design.
Yeah. And I think it's gonna win.
And it wasn't That's when they had it where it was like they would give the award to the developer and not the composer, which was stupid. But it's also because they mixed music and sound design into one, and it's like, no, you need to have them separate. Those are two completely separate things.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, but Doom won it. But yeah.
And there is another one that I want to skim through real quick, which is I guess for me is there's one for best action game, which most likely Doom will win it, because it's Doom Eternal, Hades, Half-Life Alyx, Neo 2, and Streets of Rage 4.
I don't remember. I think I voted for Eternal, but I don't remember if I also voted Alyx.
Yeah.
What was this? What was the category again? I'm sorry.
Best action game.
Yeah.
Best action game. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is Doom Eternal, Hades. I haven't played Half-Life Alyx, and same thing with you too. But
I've seen a video. I've seen videos of it. I've seen the whole thing. I already know what happens.
Yeah.
And
Fellas, I'll be right back. I'm getting a phone call.
All right.
No, you're fine. It's a good action game.
Yeah.
I will say that. I'm really glad that it was nominated for best action.
I'm surprised, but I'm also glad that Streets of Rage 4 got nominated for something, because I have heard a lot of good things when it comes to Streets of Rage, especially since it's like a revival of the old Streets of Rage from, I believe this was Sega. I want to say this like a Sega game. So that's one. It's obviously Doom's gonna win this one.
Apparently I didn't even see there's an award that they didn't add in the website. There's a category called most anticipated game.
Really?
You want me to read off? Okay, so here are the options. Elden Ring from Software Bounty Namco, God of War sequel, Santa Monica Studio, Halo Infinite 343 Industries, Horizon Forbidden West by Guerrilla Games, Resident Evil Village by Capcom, and Breath of the Wild sequel by Nintendo. Okay, since that wasn't a vote option, which of these most anticipated games are you most anticipated for out of all of them?
So the games that are there is God of War sequel, Halo Infinite,
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring. Elden Ring. I feel bad because they haven't showed anything of Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's the one that George R.R. Martin is helping with.
Yeah, the writer of Game of Thrones, and then the Breath of the Wild sequel. I guess for that
and
one,
Resident Evil Village. Too.
Oh, Resident Evil Village. Well, I guess I want to say, Halo Infinite. I'm not excited for because I'm not a big Halo fan. I never grew up with it or played the games themselves. God of War, the story of it, I'm really excited to see it. But I would probably give it to Breath of the Wild sequel because, I mean, I fucking loved the first Breath of the Wild.
For me, it's either God of War or Resident Evil Village.
Yeah,
because both of the stories in that are really good. God of War ends on a really fucking awesome cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, by the way, that game won Game of the Year, I believe, 2 years ago in 2018.
Yeah, it came out in 2018. That one won Game of the Year, which was a big surprise because that was it was the Red Dead Redemption 2 awards.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Frank is wanting Elden Ring. He's most anticipated for that.
Yeah. I'm not blaming you, but I'm not blaming you, buddy. Hey, I'm not saying I'm not really excited for it. I'm like, one, I haven't played any of the From Software games, any Dark Souls. I have Dark Souls 1 on my Switch, which I do want to get into and start playing with it. But
I want to get
my big reason why I'm excited for Elden Ring is because they are working with George R.R. Martin, which he's a fantastic, like he's the one who made Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan of Game of Thrones, besides the last 2 seasons kind of went downhill from there. But that's just my opinion. I am not going to fight no one with that right now. Maybe later. But that wasn't George R.R. Martin's fault. But George R.R. Martin does a good job with his writing, and I trust him when he goes to this. And yeah, I'm excited for it. It's just, I don't know. I love the God of War story, and also I'm really excited what they do with Breath of the Wild too. Because they've been saying like they're working, like they want to add something new that they don't redo the first one.
I really want to get Demon Souls for whenever I do get my PS5 because I do want to try that game.
Oh yeah,
I want to play it. But yeah, no, all of these games are really hype. Even for me, for Halo Infinite, I'm excited to play it. I'm not going to get it at Series X because I want to get a PS5, but I can play Halo Infinite on my PC, which I think is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and I know Demon Souls isn't only Sony game because that Demon Souls is like the rights are for Sony only, hence why it's not coming to PC yet.
Let's do 3 more.
Yeah.
Being like best performance, then we'll move on to game direction, and then the last one, game of the year.
Which I was at performance. I was about to go with that. This is the one that I'm saying. This is the only award I think Last of Us is gonna win. That's what I'm thinking. And the nomination, and the nominations we're going with is Ashley Johnson as Ellie, Laura Bailey as Abby, both of them from The Last of Us Part 2. Daisuke, I don't want to mess up.
Daisuke Suji as Jin Sakai
from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
Logan Cunningham as Hades from Hades, and Naji Jeter as Miles Morales from Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Which I think is interesting that Miles Morales made the cut.
Yeah, I guess it came out of the cut like just in the nick of time, I guess you could say.
Maybe, I don't know, because they changed the eligibility date.
Yeah.
Okay, nominees were announced on November 18th, 2020, and any game released on or before. Okay, that's why. So this time they changed it. So the any game released on or before November 20th that year being eligible for consideration. So
okay,
that Miles Morales is eligible.
Yeah. I think my gut is they're gonna go with Ellie. This is gonna be Ellie's win.
I don't know. I voted for Ghost of Tsushima because Jin Sakai, that character is just really grounded, really good character.
Yeah. Well, like don't get me wrong. I think it's like everyone has like a high chance. It's just I don't know. I just feel that they're gonna give it to Ellie. I've never played the second one, but I know that it's always. But either way, at the same time, this game did have a lot of controversy with it. Hence, why I don't think Abby's gonna win it. The voice of Abby, Laura Bailey. To
be fair though, I feel bad for Laura Bailey because she was getting a lot of hate for that role for no reason whatsoever.
I know, and she doesn't deserve any of the hate. It's because she played a character that a lot of people were like really mad at. But it's like that doesn't mean you have to go and give death threats or like harm or harass the voice actor.
What happened? Why did she receive death threats?
Because the character. It's really hard to get into it without getting into spoilers.
Yeah.
Even though the game's been out for a while, but it's like
okay, then let's not be the people who do the spoiler game.
Yeah.
But in private, we're totally gonna find out about this, and maybe we talk about it next week or something. I don't know.
Yeah, because the Last of Us Part 2 had a lot of. The Last of Us 2 had a lot of controversy going on with it, and it had to do with her character in the game.
It had to do with her character. It also had to do with well, I don't know. That's the wrong words to use. Like, because I can understand why people.
Edgar,
are
you can edit that out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Edgar, you can just over everything he said earlier.
Yeah.
Because Robin, we are not.
And right, I can't remember what the whole thing. I forgot where my stance was because it's been so long since I played the game. I think that's why I'm just confused right now.
In short, and to make it short and sweet, this game had a lot of controversy and it had to deal with Laura Bailey's character, but a lot of fans took it too much into heart that they forgot to separate the actor and the character, so they harassed the actor because she played that character, which no one should be doing that.
Another reason is because of just how a specific character dies at the very beginning of the game, and it's so stupid. Why?
Yeah.
That I will say is really ridiculous. Why people hate this game for that when they talk about that one reason.
Yeah, it's story wise. It's because of the character, of how the story is portrayed, and how certain characters are gone, or how the story starts midway point of like certain things going on. Those were what certain things were mad, and a lot of it is really just like kind of ridiculous of how like don't harass. PSA guys, in general, don't harass actors who play characters that you hate to death. They're just playing they're performing this character. That's not who they are in real life. They're different characters. They're not. Laura Bailey is not Abby in real life, and she does not deserve the harassment and the death threats she was getting from the game. She doesn't deserve any of that. That wasn't her control.
She was Serena. Okay, you show her some goddamn respect. She was Serena in fucking Skyrim. Fucking piece of shit for sending her death threats.
But yeah, that's what. Back to the voice acting. You know, this whole game. But we there is, but I think. Oh my goodness, I can't even speak. But okay. The other one that I actually think has a chance of winning because it's been getting a lot of a lot of voice of it is Logan Cunningham as Hades, because I've heard he does he does more than just Hades in the game. He does a lot of other voices in the game, which when I heard him, I'm like, wow, this guy's really talented. He's really good. Miles Morales, I don't think he's gonna win it just because the game just came out and
I haven't played it, so I can't say
same.
that he's a contender to win it. I'm trying not to watch any videos of it because I want to play it when I get the PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to remain spoiler free.
Yeah. Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
Oh,
Oh no. It's
from the caves above.
God Howard.
You sound far away, God Howard. God Howard, you sound very far away.
You will. You will buy Skyrim again!
Oh god.
Double, triple, platinum.
It's not even nominated in the Game Awards, God Howard.
But you will buy it! You will buy Skyrim.
Robin, you have to buy Skyrim on PS5. You gotta make the gods happy. You gotta make God Howard happy. You gotta buy it on Skyrim. You gotta buy Skyrim on PS5, Robin. You gotta do it. You gotta do it. You gotta do it.
Before you get the PS5, Robin.
Oh god. God.
Oh god.
Okay.
I'm happy because you can now bring Skyrim double triple platinum edition.
Okay,
Samsung smart refrigerator.
Oh my god.
And you will buy it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, fine.
I'll
I'll buy it.
Howard. We will God Howard. We promise.
The chat will buy it too. They will. But we don't.
You'll get it. You'll get a chat,
I'm
right?
going to go away because I have to make Skyrim quadruple triple platinum edition.
Oh.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, God Howard.
Holy shit, guys, that was God Howard. Oh my god. He blessed us with his presence.
He's scared.
I swear, I thought when he was leaving, I thought he was gonna say, "I'm going now. I have to pay my taxes." It's like,
I pay taxes.
Okay, thank you, God Howard.
I
Thank
didn't
you.
need to know that, but okay, thank you, God.
Thank you, God. Yeah, see, even,
All right.
we're kind of done with performance. Let's go to the one before the final one, which was best game direction. Which, okay, this is kind of a surprise. Yeah, for best game direction, we have the awarded for the outstanding creative vision and innovation in a game direction and design. The nominees are Final Fantasy VII from Square Enix, Ghost of Tsushima from Sucker Punch, Hades from Supergiant Games, Half-Life Alyx from Valve, and The Last of Us Part 2 from Naughty Dog for best game direction.
I think I'm trying to remember. I think I voted for Alex that time because of just how innovative the technology is in Alex.
Yeah. This might be the game that Half-Life Alyx wins besides VR.
Well, besides VR.
Mm-hmm.
That's just my thing about it because honestly, no, I'd also give it for sound design too. I don't remember which one I voted for that one because audio design is Half-Life Alyx is also nominated for that.
Yeah, I know Doom Eternal's are nominated for that one as well.
I think it's either going to be, for me, it's either going to be Alex or Tsushima. I don't remember which one I voted for. I'm pretty sure I voted for Half-Life Alex.
Yeah.
Because the fact that like you can literally grab anything in that game because it's made for those specific controllers right now, and they're eventually going to bring it to like PlayStation VR and
yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the only one that they need to bring it to is the PlayStation VR, because it's out for everything, all the other ones, because all the PC ones like Oculus, the Valve Index, and like it's already all out and stuff like that for that.
Yeah.
But I think that's my choice for game direction.
I would go the same way because Last of Us, I guess for me, it doesn't look like they didn't change a lot from it. Like if the gameplay's the same from the first Last of Us, I want to say, and then final, is it or is it different?
I would disagree. It's different. It's really different. Yeah.
Yeah, because the way I don't know. For me, the way I look at it, it kind of looks the same, but who knows? It probably is drastically different.
And it's also because like just because you've seen it and you haven't played it, there's a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm the same thing with Alex, but with Half-Life Alex, you're not comparing it to something else compared to Last of Us.
Yeah, because I guess with game direction, I guess the way they done it, I would go with Alex because of how very innovative and like how of the futuristic time itself is.
It's a full blown game in VR.
Yeah.
And Valve is putting a lot of its money into its next games being that. And especially with the tease at the very end, which I don't want to get into, but it's so fucking exciting that let's just say that we're most likely probably going to eventually see a Half-Life 3 soon. And that's the part that is so fucking exciting about it. So the thing with that though is that I don't know if they are going to do Half-Life 3 is if they're going to have it be a VR game or if they're also going to bring it to just PC. My guess is that they're going to want to be innovative and moving forward to the future of gaming, which they think is virtual reality. So Half-Life 3 is probably going to be a virtual reality game.
Yeah, I see that. But I guess for me, that's who I'd give it to with Final Fantasy VII. Its gameplay was all right. The way I looked at it, it wasn't like super. It was like grand because it had its own issues with it when I would see it. And the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima, it really looks nice. It was an interesting like new take with Sucker Punch. Hades is another. Like a lot of these have like a lot of good things. It's just I don't know. It could go to Hades, it could go to Ghost of Tsushima, but I feel like it's gonna go to Half-Life Alyx. Last of Us Part 2 and Final Fantasy VII, I feel don't have a chance with this. That's my theme. That's what I feel with this.
And
now to the last one. To the final one, which is Game of the
wait.
What?
Before we get to Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Best sim/strategy game. Crusader Kings 3, Desperados 3. There's some other bullshit there that includes Microsoft Flight Simulator, and guess what? I'm giving it to Crusader Kings 3. So there you go.
Whoa.
Stefan, suck it. All right,
I think
suck it, Trebek.
Stefan would disagree with you.
Well, Stefan isn't here right now.
If we're gonna talk about best sim strategy game, I think it's.
We weren't. I was. That's fine. Moving on. What's the best game? Let's go. Suck it, Trebek.
Good.
Rest in that is a reference to an SNL sketch.
Yeah.
About Jeopardy. R.I.P. Alex Trebek. We loved you. But also Trebek. In a reference to the SNL sketch. Suck it.
God damn it.
That's not what I said to your mother last night. We lost Sean Connery and Alex Trebek. Fucking sad. Anyway. Almost choked. Oh fuck! I'll see you there, Trebek. God damn it.
So, Game of the Year.
We got
Game.
the first one. We have
Game of the Year.
First one we got Animal Crossing: New Horizons by Nintendo.
Oh, where are you? Okay, I was like, I thought you were going we have Doom Eternal, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, Animal Crossing: New Horizons, and The Last of Us Part 2.
I was going alphabetical.
Oh, I was just going like in the order.
That's how Wikipedia has it. It's an alphabetical order.
Oh, you're in Wikipedia. But I'm on the Game Awards site.
Yeah.
I'm on the Game Awards site.
I'm on Wikipedia. So
what do you think?
This is a hard one to say.
Yeah.
I voted for Ghost of Tsushima because out of all of them, the only ones I haven't played was Final Fantasy VII and Hades. But out of all of them, I went with Ghost of Tsushima. Mm-hmm. I think they're all eligible to win Game of the Year. Yeah. Even Last of Us Part 2. Yeah. I am going to say that. Mm. Whether you like it, whether you love it or hate it, I think it's eligible because of how talkative it was and how much of a conversation it brought up. It's going to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah. I might be agreeing with Jackson right here because he's in here. What's up, Jackson? I will say Hades is one of the underdogs right now. Hades can surprisingly take it because I think Hades is going to be like the Disco Elysium of last year, where it took a lot of awards that no one was expecting, and that's what I'm predicting with this one. Doom Eternal,
I'm not.
Go for it, Robin.
I'm not dogging down. I think Animal Crossing has a really good chance too because I got it. It's a really good game. I haven't played it since I don't remember. Like, I haven't played it for a long time because it's just like I understand why. Like how the game has progressed. That's just like for me. It's like it's too kind of tedious for me to like check every single day. Mm-hmm. But that's just me. But like from what I played and what you can do, I think Animal Crossing has a really good chance of winning. So same with Doom Eternal. All of them have a good chance of winning.
These are there is good picks on this and the Game of the Year. This one, there's a lot of good picks on this one. My guess, I would love Doom Eternal to win. I would be so happy if Doom Eternal wins. I don't think it's gonna win. Same thing with Final Fantasy VII Remake. I don't think it's gonna win. Last of Us it's really there, but I don't think so. Hades is the underdog here, so it might surprise everyone winning, but I don't know.
Do I think that Last of Us Part 2 is gonna win? No. But I wouldn't be surprised if it also did.
Yeah. My two bets right here for winning is Ghost of Tsushima and Animal Crossing: New Horizons, because I remember it was last year that Sekiro won it, right?
Yes, Sekiro was a big surprise.
Yeah, it was a big surprise, but the more I think about it, it's like, oh, okay, I kind of see how people how this one won, because a lot of people were like, okay. But
I don't remember which one I voted for in that one. I think I voted for Resident Evil 2 for Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm. I remember that was one controversy last year because it was a remake or something. But I'm like, what's wrong with it?
Yeah.
But my choice is Ghost of Tsushima or Animal Crossing: New Horizons. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, but a lot of it and the way that I've been seeing, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a contender. And I know my feelings with Animal Crossing. I wasn't a fan. I've never played any Animal Crossing when I was growing up. I was always like with Mario, and then I started with Zelda. And with Animal Crossing: New Horizons, it does have like some of its issues, but I kind of like the daily progression and just like just visiting your animals and then celebrating Halloween recently, and then they're gonna celebrate Thanksgiving. And I don't know, I like the way this game plays. It was the big thing I could say about it, because Animal Crossing and Doom Eternal came out the same year, the same day. It came out during a pandemic. And Animal Crossing came out at the right time it came out in the right year and the right time, because it came out when all of us were in this pandemic, and we were all just like stuck inside, and we were very worried, and we were very panicking, and hopefully we're getting through this soon. But it was a game that it departed itself from not worrying and you're just relaxing. It's a game that's just to relax you and keep you calm, and you're meeting new animal friends and just building your house and all that stuff.
But like, you also have to know that, and since this is going to be voted by the people anyway, like, it's gonna be hard to say of who could win still, because Animal Crossing was like helped a lot of people, like, and it outsold a lot of stuff. But you also have to remember that a lot of people also played Doom Eternal. A lot of people played Ghost of Tsushima. And a lot of people played.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that's why I think it's gonna win. That's just why I'm gonna pick it. That's just what for me. That's why I'm picking it. Because
for me, I just thought Ghost of Tsushima was a better game out of all of them. Like, I liked Animal Crossing, but I just think Ghost of Tsushima was just a better. It was just a better game. Yeah. So I went with Ghost of Tsushima, and I honestly,
for me, I would. I'm going to give my vote to New Horizons, but what I think is going to win, it's really up there. But I do really think that Tsushima is going to win it. I won't be banned with it. It's just like again, like as Robbins was saying, it's like a lot of these. The list here deserves it, no matter like if you like them or not. They all have deserve.
And yes, Frank, like Captain Volger, like Animal Crossing is the best-selling game out of all of these, and it is an exclusive, but that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be voting for them.
Because Ghost of Tsushima is an exclusive as well. Hades was very cross-platform, and Doom as well. Final Fantasy was only on PS4.
And because out of all of us, with Frank, Jackson, and me and William, that we've all, I don't know if William's gotten it. No, he has. But we've all gotten the game, and all four of us say something different. Jackson's, I think, well, I'm not sure too much about William, but Jackson says that, Animal Crossing will win Game of the Year. Frank says that, Hades will win Game of the Year. And I'm saying that Ghost of Tsushima will win it. So, that's what I'm saying, Frank. Make note that I'm not voting for Animal Crossing. And that's the thing. Just because it's the best-selling game out of all of them doesn't mean that it's going to easily win, because this is voted by the people.
It has other they have other people that do it, but we also have the vote on these games, and it really depends which one really. For Game of the Year, it really depends on the person, which game impacted them more, which was the game they had the most fun with overall. And so it's you're going to have a lot of people who are going to say, oh, Doom Eternal's going to win, Final Fantasy, Ghost of Tsushima, over and over. It's just until the day we get to see it, but, whoever things. It's just, I guess for me, what I'm trying to do here is, my vote goes to Animal Crossing.
You can try taking us, but you're never going to win, Captain Vulgar. Because we have nothing to give you. Nothing. Do you know what our budget is? It's limited and unfortunate.
Our budget is literally 3 dogs and a xenomorph.
And we spent that.
We spent that last episode.
Let me say it this way. So that you can understand exactly. We have nothing.
Oh, nice.
You lose.
I'm waiting for it.
Waiting for what?
I'm waiting for the. Will has to finish the line.
Oh.
Will.
It's nothing.
Oh.
You lose. It's all over.
Oh my god. That's not what I thought it was going to go. Jesus Christ.
But
all right,
but
anyway,
for me, voting for Animal Crossing, but I kind
of I get to do this then.
Yeah. What do you?
That was our segment on the Game Awards.
Oh shit.
Oh nice.
Nice.
Awesome. But
right.
That was our thoughts on the Game Awards. And now we're gonna go on the segment train. We're gonna get on it, and we're gonna go to our review. We're gonna talk about this movie, because we're doing the theme this year of a I mean, the theme of the month, which is 80s comedies. Also, Previato. Greetings, hello, Mr. Previato. Nice to meet you.
Previato! How are you doing, bud? I hope you're well.
Yeah.
That's one of the brothers from the regiment. Hey, shout out to the 21st Cortland Jaegers.
Nice.
We them boys.
Nice. And we're gonna talk about another 80s comedy that came out in 1986 called Back to School. It's time for school. Back to school, which was directed by Alameter, and it stars Rodney Dangerfield.
Rodney Dangerfield.
You show that name with respect.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you put some respect on that name, buddy, because
he got no respect.
He got no respect. No respect. No respect at all.
Wakey, come on, it's time for school. Yeah, wakey, it's time for school, man.
We'll get it, we get into the start of the movie, and then when we get to the portion about the sandwich, that's when I'll go into the recipe that I have set out.
Oh, okay.
Or set up to tell you guys about.
Sandwich.
Yeah, there's a sandwich involved in this movie, and it's a very important sandwich, and it's a sandwich that I want personally. Yeah. But let's get into the movie, I guess.
Yeah, we'll get into the beginning of the movie. You know, I never seen Back to School, so walking into this was I will say it was a pleasant surprise. I don't know if
it's a great.
Yeah, have you guys seen this before or?
Oh God, yeah, I've seen this several times.
I've seen it a couple times too. It's a good movie.
Nice. Yeah.
I own it on the DVDs.
Oh.
You know the DVDs? It's a thing we used to have before the Blu-ray.
Hey, they used to have DVDs. I still have VHSs.
Oh yeah. Same.
Oh yeah. Same. So, yeah.
Remember VHS, kids? You remember that?
Of course you don't. You was too young. Back in my day, we had to have the reel-to-reel, and we'd spin it ourselves. We didn't have electricity, and we had to assume what they were saying. It was just a moving picture and a candle. All right.
They're gonna yell at us for mentioning VHSs and call us boomers, even though Will is a millennial, and then me and Edgar are Zoomers.
Yeah, we're all Zoomers.
Yeah,
you're young children. You're Zoomers. You're part of the Zoomers.
God damn it!
But yeah, this was a really pleasant surprise coming into this movie because spoiler alert, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it a lot. And but it starts off black and white. Going into I'm like, oh, what's going around here? I'm like, why is it in black and white? I thought it was in color. I thought they were going to school.
Old New York City, and we see a quote unquote young Rodney Tate, all of it in quotes, quote young Rodney Dangerfield, end quote, about to go into his father's workshop, and
his father's a tailor.
Yeah. Realizing that he doesn't want to go to college and he wants to continue in the family business.
He told like, son, you may have, I don't care if you have the riches and if you're rich or anything like that. You're not a man until you got an education, son. Nice. Remember, we're the melons.
No, he says, and this is really fun. He goes, "You're a Maloney. You can own up to something." And then a few moments later in the film, Rodney Dangerfield says the same line to his son, but he's changed his name because it's a common immigrant story. It's like, well, yeah, I changed my name when I got here. Yeah. I changed from being a Maloney to being a melon. And I like he goes, hey, you can do anything you want. You're a melon.
Yeah. And so Rodney Dangerfield's character, he just like, as he grows up, he becomes a fat tailor. He becomes this businessman who owns a fat tailor shop for fat guys. And I like the intro he does.
The name of the shop is Big and Fat. as opposed to a big and tall. Or
Yeah.
it made, yeah, it's like big and fat. Like, so the fucking commercial's hilarious.
Yes.
It's like, are you fat, pleasantly plump? then we've got the clothes for you. Come try the new Hindenburg line. And he's watching this commercial in his limo with his limo driver Lou. And he goes, Lou, do I look fat in that commercial? And Lou's like, you could lose a few pounds. He goes, I gotta hire fatter actors.
I might add that Lou is the guy who plays Paulie in the Rocky series.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's Rocky's brother-in-law.
Yeah. Which I was like, I forgot that he was in the movie, and I was like, oh shit, it's Paulie.
But he's Lou in this movie.
Yeah, but it's
Lou.
Lou,
Oh man. And he goes, I gotta get fatter actors.
And then it goes to his office and it's like everyone's eating in the meeting.
Oh god. He goes into this building and he glad hands everybody as he's walking in. He's like, Linda, Paul, Steve, how's it going? How's the kids? All right. And and then he walks into this boardroom, and it's a giant boardroom table, and everybody's fat, and there's cake and cookies, and there's so much food on the table. And he goes, watch it, calm down, don't get any on the walls. Then they start talking business, and this one guy brings up Melon Patch Kids. This is as opposed to Cabbage Patch Kids, because this is Melon Patch Kids. And he goes, I think we've got a winner here, because Cabbage Patch Kids are all about that these are orphans, but Melon Patch Kids aren't orphans, they're abandoned. I think we're gonna win in the war. I was like, that's fucking hilarious, man. It's so good. And then he gets a call from his son, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, I got a call from my son. Everybody get out of here. And everybody goes, ugh. And they make fat person noises where they're just like, ugh.
And they try to get out, and then they're all trying to get out of the door at the same time. It's just like they're all fat, and they can't go through the door because they're trying to shove each other out.
I'm talking as a fat person here.
Yeah.
I think all of us could stand to lose a few pounds. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But they were like the fattest of fat people. They were like, eating cake, trying to get through a door, budging each other. Had somebody come up with a stick to push them in through the door, it would have been perfect, you know?
Yeah.
And Robin.
It's like in Family Guy, when Peter starts up that club for fat people. And they're just, Peter says we're gonna get them like fat people getting moist ham, and everyone's like, ham. And the last thing you hear, the last person you hear is somebody saying, I just found my penis.
Oh god.
Wait, wasn't one of the lines where he's like during the commercial, one of them was like, you're now fat now when you're having sex with a woman, now you have to give her directions on where to find it.
You gotta give her directions. Yeah.
You have to give her directions.
Well, don't worry, because there's a place for you. Tall and fat. Big and fat.
And then he gets so he's calling his son. He's like, hey son, how you doing, son? I'm like, you in the sorority now? He's like, yeah, dad. He's like, how you doing? The swimming team? He's like, great, dad. And then it just shows the son, he's just a towel boy, he's not even in a fraternity. He's like, how about I come over there, son? I'm like, you should come over. Your mother and I are we're having our 5th anniversary, son. You should come over. He's like, dad,
and then he's just like, first of all, that's your wife, not my mother. Yeah. And I was just like, ooh. Ooh.
Turmoil.
Ooh. Ooh. Family trauma. Ooh, woo, woo, woo.
And then it goes to the anniversary, and then you could just tell the parent, I mean, yeah, they wanted a divorce already. because they're like, I hate my wife.
Yeah, and like he just like he plays that like Rodney Dangerfield plays that scene so great.
Oh yeah,
Because they're two very different people.
Yeah.
He's like she's like high society bullshit artist basically.
I mean, obviously,
And
like Rodney Dangerfield, like he's basically the one that like carries his film like so much, and it's great.
Oh god, yeah. And like the wife, like she invites all of her friends over to the party. She wants it catered to her requirements. She says at one point, I have nothing to wear. And he says, you've got six closets filled with nothing to wear. And and then she says, are you saying I spend too much money? And he goes, no, you too much money? No, a lot of people go to Switzerland to get their watch fixed.
The one that I like he did was like, you know, like the party's already going around, and he's like already getting tired because he's just like, oh, give me a beer, why don't you? And the guy's like, I'm sorry, senor, we don't have that, we only have champagne and wine. He's like, oh, I'll go get the beer myself. But it's like that's the part where he makes the sandwich, and the scene where the wife comes in and she tries to introduce like these two people to Rodney, that part like cracked me up real bad because they're like, oh, he was about to go shake this hand, but then he just spits out a piece of the meatball or whatever he had in his mouth. He just spit it out and put it in his hand, put it down, and uses that hand to shake their arm. Like, hi, how you doing?
Yeah.
You have such a lovely dress, the wife says after trying to save her the embarrassment of the moment.
It says green. I'm like, more green and you look like a pool cover. He's like, no offense on the dress, but you should go to my business.
He said like, you should come down to my business, big and fat. No offense.
No offense. Yeah.
No offense.
Oh god. And speaking of that sandwich that he has made,
speaking of sandwich,
and we're gonna transition, and I'm hoping that Edgar can make a transition for this to some, and this is the transition happens right now, and the title is Robin's Food Hour.
Like 1, 2, ready, Amber. And then boo.
Robin's food something. I don't know. Figure it out.
Robin. Food. Moment.
There we go. That's a good one.
Robin's food moment.
So the sandwich that he makes in this scene, in the movie, is basically just a piece of bread that he cuts in half, a giant loaf of bread he cuts in half, and he tears it out and he puts in a bunch of hors d'oeuvres in there. Now, somebody named from a YouTube channel called Binging with Babish, a man named Andrew Ray. He's a really great YouTube. He's a really good YouTube channel. I'd highly recommend it. I'm posting the video in the chat. I'd recommend going to see this video. It's a video about how to make this sandwich, but I'm just going to spout out the ingredients of what you would need for this sandwich. Now, you're going to be making 3 things to put into the sandwich: meatballs, spanakopita. Yeah, spanakopita and deviled eggs. So for the meatballs, you're going to need a one pound of ground beef, 1 egg beaten, a 1/4 cup dry breadcrumbs, a half a yellow onion, small chopped, a 1/2 cup of ketchup, and this is something kind of interesting, a 1/2 cup of grape jelly, which I don't know if that helps add to the flavor. That's something.
Well, yeah, it's a sweetness. So when you're making the sauce that you have the meatballs in, you put something that's really sweet and fruity also with something that's going to complement it. That's going to be, a little spice, a little this, a little that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and you think, well, wouldn't those two things clash? But it doesn't, because look at like habanero mango. Like those go together so well.
True that.
If you like mango, which I do not.
Really, you don't like mangoes?
No, I don't like mangoes, and this isn't the right platform to discuss that. Go on, Robin.
Well, I mean, it is during the food hour, but I mean,
Well, not now. There ain't no mangoes in this sandwich.
All right, so moving on to that's how to make the meatballs. And I'm getting this from Food and Wine, which is they're doing the exact same recipe that they got from the show. It's just written out, because he was supposed to have this written out for his book as well as his actual website, but it's not there. So the next thing you need to make is the spanakopita, which you're going to need 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter, 8 ounces of baby spinach, 2 garlic cloves minced, a 1/4 pound of feta cheese crumbled, a 1/4 cup of fresh dill chopped.
Hold on on the recipe, because we just got another follower, Bigger7. Bigger7. I'm sorry, Bigger7. I couldn't see your name, but hey, you. Thank you for the follow. Hope you enjoy the burger.
It's Big Reg 74035. Thanks, Big Reg.
Big Reg, thank you, Big Reg, for the follow.
You got the burger.
You got the
There
burger.
you go.
Thank you.
And what perfect timing also for what we're discussing. And the last 2 things you would need for the spanakopita is 1 sheet of frozen puff pastry thawed, and 1 egg beaten also. 1 beaten egg also. And then moving on to the deviled eggs, you're going to need 6 eggs, hard boiled and peeled, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 tablespoon of white vinegar, 1 teaspoon of white vinegar, half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder, 1/4 teaspoon of celery salt, and 1 pinch of paprika for putting it on after you have made the deviled eggs. And now for the overall sandwich, you're just going to need 1 oval-shaped French loaf. At least a pound is what it's asking here in this recipe. And these are optional to add to it to, I guess, add more to it. But if you want the authentic, like, movie sandwich, you don't need to add these additional things to the sandwich, which it's asking for olives, cheese cubes, croutons, which I think it's like croutons or something like that, and parsley roughly chopped. Like, that's all optional to put in. And I could go into the steps of how to do it, but it's gonna
want me to do it, because I'll just say how you make this sandwich.
What I roughly remember how you do it in from the movie. So, like, after you have made the meatball, the spanakopita, and the deviled eggs, you just gotta cut the sandwich in half, claw out the inner bread on the top side, and just fucking stuff the meatballs, the spanakopita, the deviled eggs in that part, and you close it up and you cut it in half, and you just eat it with a good Bud Light. Why would you want to drink it with a Bud Light? I don't know why.
It's not a Bud. It's very important. It's a Miller. Because it's Miller time, baby. We are not sponsored by Miller.
We're not.
I just want to point that out. If Miller wants to talk to us, though,
or any,
have them follow us on any of our social media.
Yeah.
And it's important because in the movie, he makes this sandwich, and there's people who start to crowd around him.
Yeah, I was like,
and they're like, what the hell is he doing? This is his house. He owns this house, and he's just like, hey, look at this. And he's clawing out the bread and throwing these hors d'oeuvres off of a tray, and he's just throwing them in there. And he goes, hey, hold this for me, will you? And the guy holds the sandwich, and he cuts it in half, and he goes, I learned this in Europe. He just grabs his Miller and walks away, and everyone's just like, oh my God, did you see what the... You're at his house, lady.
So with that, that's how you make the sandwich a condensed version, and also of the rest of the ingredients you would need. And now we play the closing title card and song. And now we're back.
And now we're back to the película. So when he goes to get his Miller Lite, his beer Miller Lite, he hears moaning, he hears noises. He's like, "What's going on here?" And then he goes, opens it, and he sees his second wife having an affair with this other guy. And he's all like, hey, sir,
hey, Adam and Evil.
And he's all like, I was just looking for the cocktail napkins. Oh, you're looking for them? What, in their pants? They're not in their pants. And they're just like,
oh man, the lot, we forgot this. When he's right before he makes the sandwich, he says, "I hate small food." And he just piles it in the sandwich. And then he goes into the kitchen, right? And he sees his wife, getting felt up by Giorgio. And like later after the party's over, they're in the bedroom, and she goes like, "I cannot believe."
Oh no, the party wasn't over. She was like, "I need to talk to you right now." He's like, "Hey, can you keep an eye on my sandwich?" And then they go, like,
"Yeah, can you keep an eye on my sandwich?"
And then they go, she's like, "I can't believe." I'm like, "I wanted to." He's like, "I'm so glad you asked. I've been holding it for years." And then he has the paper. She's like, "Oh, it's not gonna be that easy. I'm gonna take Weapon Road."
Well, I found the quote from the TV commercial about obese people. It's just, it's kind of going backpedaling a little bit, but like, when you make love, do you have to give directions at the zoo? Do the elephants throw the peanuts? Do you look at a menu and say, "Okay"? God damn it!
Oh, that's a good line. That's fucking great.
So they're having the meeting. They're in the bedroom. I want a divorce. Like, that's good. We have one thing in common at least. And oh no, Thornton, it's not going to be that easy, says the wife.
All the money from you. And it's like, "Oh really?" And then he takes like, "I'm glad you answered that too." He's like, "Here's," he was like, "with this guy, that guy," and then there's a three.
Want the quote?
Yeah, the quote. Give me the quote.
The quote. Huh, that's interesting. Here's you and Giorgio in the guest room. Mm-hmm. Here's you and Giorgio in the rumpus room. And this one I can't understand. Here's you, here's Giorgio. And what's this little person doing over here? That one I can't figure out. Now, he doesn't say little person. He says a bad word that we're not going to... Well, if I said it, it would be... And we're going to bleep it out. Yeah. So we're not going to do it. Because it's not right. So a little person. So he goes, "Here's you, here's Giorgio, and what's this little person doing over here?" That's just hysterical.
And then here's a quote that's later on that's on his second wife. He's like, "Oh, we've been doing from the start. I'm an earth sign. She's a water sign. Together we made mud."
Together we made mud. Yeah. Oh man.
And then he's just in the pool. He's all like, "Hey, pack your bags. We're gonna go meet my son at college." And then that's when they go to college. He goes,
and him and Lou go to college.
And then this was a surprise because I saw the credits, but I didn't even know this. Robert Downey Jr. is in the movie.
Robert Downey Jr. is his son's roommate. It's the guy with the weird hair.
Yeah, he's the roommate. He's in the movie.
A possibly really coked out Robert Downey Jr.
I don't think it was. I think he was playing it like he was playing it. I think this is maybe before Robert Downey Jr.
I don't think this is because it is
problems.
Mm-hmm. He didn't look coked up in the movie.
I would say he didn't look coked up at the beginning or in the middle, but the ending, I don't know. He just seemed kind of out of it. That's just me though. The ending to me, he looked like he was pretty,
he kind of looked. But he looked fine. It didn't look. I didn't see no Coke stuff on him.
Mr. Downey Jr., if you want to comment on the state of mind you were in during the making of the movie, because obviously you watch this podcast because this is the greatest podcast. Get back to us. Comment on our YouTube. YouTube. What a segue. Here's the link to our YouTube. If y'all haven't subscribed there, boom.
Subscribe.
Give that's last week's episode. Give us a subscribe. Say something in the comments. We look back. We try to comment to what people have to say.
Mm-hmm.
But Mr. Robert Downey Jr., if you have something to say, go right ahead. Comment. We'll get back to you.
Yeah.
But okay, to the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Thornton Mellon with his driver Lou, they go up to what they believe is a fraternity house, and he walks right inside. And he's going, hey, and he's like yelling around, and he's trying to find his son. He goes into the bathroom, and there's a big shower, and behind the curtain he goes, hey, buddy, and he opens it, and it's the 80s, so boom, obligatory naked woman scene, and you see chest up, right? Mm-hmm. And she screams, and he goes, "Oh my God, honey, I'm sorry, I didn't see a thing." And he slams the curtain closed, and then he opens it back up, and he goes, "You're perfect." And he closes the curtain again.
Like, you look perfect. You get that.
You're perfect.
And the police get there, and they're like, "It's okay, it's all fine." It's like, we always have those accidents, you know. And you said you didn't see anything, so it's all right. It's like he's paying him. He's like, "Hey, here you go. Here's some money for the kids. Give it to the kids." He's like, "I don't have any kids." "Oh, okay, then here you go. Here's some money for you can have kids, you know?
Go buy some kids."
Go buy some kids, you know? You haven't lived life until you buy kids.
God.
Or like, have kids.
You don't have any kids? Yeah, go buy some.
Okay. So then, moving on from then, like, he then finally meets up with his son.
Yeah.
And surprising him in the dorm room.
Mm-hmm. They're like, "Hey, I heard," and he told us, "I'm like, I heard you lied. That you're not in the fraternity, and you're also not in the driving thing. You're the towel boy."
You're also not. You're not on the diving team. You're a towel boy. What? Like, you don't have to lie to me. You could have told me the truth. Now, if you were I'm trying to like remember what he said, but it's like, it's a bit, it's from 86. So I mean, it's kind of
The what?
It's obligatory to women a little bit when he said like, "Oh
yeah," it's like, "I never lied to you." It's like, you don't lie about school. You only lie to women. He said
yeah.
I was like, oh,
and
God.
It's like, oh man, that didn't
age well.
Go well, age well.
And then he's like, "Come over here, son. I want you to show me around the town." And he's all like, so he's telling him, and then the son, he tells him he wants to drop out. He's like, "Yo, son, what do you drop out?" He's like, "Yo," it's like, "What I tell you?" It's like, "They don't care unless you have an education." He's like, "You're my son. I don't want you to drop out. Besides, you're a melon. You're one of the melons. You're a melon." And then that's where he's all like, "I tell you what." He's like, "Hey, how about I go to school with you?" He's like, "What, Dad?" He's like, I'll sign him to go to school." And they're like, "Really, Dad?" And they're like, "Yeah," and then they give a hug. And then also, a fun fact about this, I didn't even know it. Danny Elfman is the composer for this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, nice.
I saw it on the credits. It's like composed by Danny Elfman. I'm like, what? I'm like, oh. And then apparently, like later on in the movie, you know that band that Dangerfield goes into, that has that music band.
Music band?
You know when he goes to the bar he goes to?
Yeah,
and that band playing? Apparently Danny Elfman's in there.
Oh shit! I know that they actually got Boingo Boingo, like the band Boingo Boingo later, but like I didn't know Danny Elfman was somewhere in there. That's cool.
Yeah, he has like his own cameo in the background as one of the band members. Because I saw like at the end of the credits like band members, and then it says Danny Elfman was this. I'm like, oh, what the hell? But yeah, I'm like, that's a compliment I could actually give this movie, like right off the bat. The music, it was very fitting music for the movie. Like the way it had that it had that old 80s compose vibe, and Danny Elfman being part of it, it really gave a lot of life to it, and it's kind of like it's one of the big compliments I could give besides the very charming Danny Dangerfield he gives to his character.
Rodney.
Oh,
Rodney.
Rodney.
Where'd you get Danny from?
Oh, my bad.
Danny Elfman.
Yeah, Danny Elfman.
Oh,
Danny Elfman's a composer. But, back to, they're like, he tries to apply to go to college, or not apply, he's trying to, persuade the guy who owns the
Dean.
The dean. There
Dean
you go.
Martin.
Dean Martin. Yeah.
He's the dean of the college. His last name is Martin. He's Dean Martin.
Yeah.
That's a funny joke.
I thought like it was. Honestly, I didn't think that was his actual name until later.
Yeah.
And it was like I thought he was just making a jib at him. It's like, oh no, that's just part of the joke because that's his actual name or his last name.
And so he bribes the school with, the money.
He bribes the school. Yeah, he bribes the school by basically purchasing land to help fund for a new business school.
Yeah.
So that was able to help get to enroll. And
No Cloud9. He doesn't do a musical number. His last name is just Martin, and he's the dean of the college. So they go, "Hey, Dean Martin," and it's just what he is.
He is what he is. And then we have I guess technically the main baddie of the movie, which is the professor, the business professor.
oh, what's his name?
He's
I just know Philip. It was Phil.
Yeah, Philip Barbary.
Yeah.
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 performed
Barbie,
by Paxton
something like that.
Whitehead.
Who does such a good job at being the snooty English professor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a really good. He did a really dope job. Really great job. So lit. So fire.
Yeah. He's lit and fire. Is this the language the kids are using?
Yeah.
So he drives this amazing old car though, and he's parked while they're at the ceremony to like break a ground on the new Thornton Mellon Business School, and Rodney Dangerfield is given the ceremonial shovel. And he goes, I'd like to, it makes me happy to break ground on this school that's dedicated to, well, me. And he shovels into the ground, and he throws it over his shoulder, and it hits Philip right in the head. It's hilarious.
Oh my god.
And then it starts off his journey to school.
Yeah. So he's in the school now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's the oldest freshman they've ever had, and they have to go get in line to register for classes, because that's what you used to have to do before computers. You actually had to stand in line to register.
Yeah.
Okay. And there's a huge line. It's gonna take them all day. And Rodney Dangerfield turns to Lou, and he goes, "This is gonna be forever." And Lou says, "What do you want to make some of them leave?" And he goes, "No, I don't want you to throw them around. This is college. Let me think for a second." Cut to Lou's outside in front of the limo with a sign that says Bruce Springsteen, and everybody leaves the line to go see Bruce Springsteen, and they're raving and shouting, "Bruce, Bruce!" And one of the girls is like, "Is Bruce Springsteen really gonna be here?" And he goes, "That's what I've heard, kid." "Well, where's he gonna be?" "Right here." When? "I don't know. I was told to pick him up right now." He's just standing out there with a sign. Meanwhile, they all get to go. Let's get a pog for Gerbo 119.
That's my brother.
Oh,
Gerbo.
well, you know what? You get exactly one pog. You get a pog, singular.
You get one pog.
So then the line's empty. They go and get in line. They get everything they wanted. They have to go to the bookstore. They get a pile of used books. And Rodney Dangerfield's like, what's all these used books? No, they're used books. They're fine. Yeah, but they're already marked in. And he goes, yeah, but that's the point. They're already marked in. Yeah, but the person that marked them could have been a maniac. And he turns to the person. He turns to the person at the counter. He goes, let's get them all new books. And by the way, let me get 4 of those beer mugs. Let me get 5 of those pennants. Let me get 6 of these sweaters. And hey, everybody. Shakespeare for all of you, all right? Woo! And everyone is just like, yay!
Man,
Oh my god!
Those were the highlights in that movie. I can say, since it was being my first time watching this, it's just him, just like he's this multi-billion-dollar businessman who owns a fat clothing shop. And he comes over here to school, and it's like and he's interacting. He's just like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy everything. He's gonna buy this and buy that." It's just the way he interacts with everything was really funny, and it was such a good time, man.
Then he starts to go take his classes. The one I remembered like from quotable stuff was like when he went to go take his contemporary American history class
with the teacher.
With Sam
Kinison. Oh man!
And his son was telling like, just keep your head down, just don't quote anything or fight, and then you'll be fine in that class. He's like, okay, Dad. He's like, well, okay. And the guy looked normal. I'm like, what's this guy gonna do? The girl...
He starts like yelling at the girl for giving the actual correct answer, but then he's just because Professor Tirgason was actually in Vietnam. I can't remember the actual quote. Like,
they're like, "Can anyone tell us what happened at why we sent our troops to Vietnam and all that stuff?"
No, it was. Can anyone tell me why in 1975 we pulled out of Vietnam?
Oh yeah,
and
the girl
answered
it like
little blonde in the front is just like, I can. He goes, okay. She goes, due to the failure of Vietnamization to fully get the Vietnamese on board with American capitalism and failing to completely failing to win their hearts and souls, and also the illegal actions of the Americans. And he goes, well, that's the line that everyone believes, but I wouldn't have known that because I wasn't here when it was happening at college. I was over there, up to my ankles in rice paddies, eating, while you people were over here wearing headbands, having a good time.
He goes back shit nuts.
Dangerfield. Right, Dangerfield goes, whoa, Professor.
He's like, calm down, Professor. She's just a kid.
These kids were babies when that was happening. And as for me, well, I'm a lover, not a fighter. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you wanted to help, Mr. Helper. Well, how about this? About 30 years ago, we had a little something called the Korean conflict. Why do you think we didn't win that war and push past the 28th parallel? We didn't go past the 28th parallel because Truman was too much of a chicken shit to let MacArthur bomb them little fuckers to hell. And he goes, yeah, I'm gonna like you.
He said, like the line he said was like, all right, I'll say it, because Truman was too much of a pussy whip to let MacArthur go in there and blow all those commie bastards. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you. Good teacher. He really seems to care. About what? I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
God, it's such a good scene.
Yeah.
And he's only in that scene and the scene after when they're doing the oral exams, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, but he was great.
Sam Kinison was so goddamn funny. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you wanted to help, Mr. Helper.
And then we get to, and then I think it's the next class was the English class.
I think so.
Yeah.
When he meets when Rodney Dangerfield meets his love interest.
Yeah.
And like she starts quoting oh god, I forgot what the name of the poem that she's reading, but
Dr. Diane Turner, that's a character's name.
she like it's a pretty
Joyce. She's reading Joyce.
Yeah.
Although I don't know what poem it is.
Yeah.
But I just know that it ends with like Rodney Dangerfield like getting up saying yes.
He got real turned
Because
on.
it's a pretty sexy poem.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
she's reading it so well. And she's gorgeous. This woman is gorgeous.
Mhm.
Like she is a beautiful woman. And she reads this poem and she says, yes. She goes, yes, I rather like Joyce. He turns me on as well. Let's see what turns all of you on in terms of poetry. And like she goes to the board and she's writing down what they're gonna do for the semester. And
Yeah.
it's just like, ooh, that's fun. Now we know who the love interest is. Wait, did we talk about I had to step away for half a moment. Did we talk about the business professor? When he's in the business class and they're talking about.
Oh yeah, we skipped that part because we went to the history.
Yeah,
professor.
because that happens before the history, which is why he's like, well, I hope I have a better day. But like he goes, so he's in charge of a multi-million-dollar business. He knows business, right?
Yeah.
And he's New York stock, and the professor's like, we are going to create a real business, like from the ground up, and we're going to start with building the warehouse, and he's going through all of these things, and he keeps getting interrupted by Rodney Dangerfield, who goes, you left out a lot of stuff. He goes, well, what is it, Mr. Mellon? And he goes, well, first of all, you left out a lot when you were putting in your budget for buying this. You got to pay off local building assessors. You got to think about waste management, which I don't know if you know isn't exactly run by the nicest guys.
Mhm.
And then if you want any kind of cement put down, you got to talk to the Teamsters, and they're not going to let you get away with anything for a couple of grand less than what you should pay. And the professor cuts him off. He goes, well, Mr. Mellon, you might be doing business with bribes and mafia payoffs, but that is not how legitimate business is done. He goes, all right. So now we must discuss where we need to put this business. And he just yells, how about Fantasyland?
Oh my god.
God.
God damn it.
It's such a great movie.
Mhm.
So we already know that the business professor hates him. He's got a thing for the English professor, and the American history professor's fucking nutty.
Fucking
And
nuts.
That's the rest of the show.
Yeah.
So he tries to get with the English professor, and he tries at one point to be like, hey, why don't you and I get dinner? Well, she's with Philip, the business professor.
Mhm.
And she goes, actually, I have dinner tonight with someone else. And he goes, well, how about the next night? I have a night class. He goes, well, how about the night after that? I have another night class. And then he says, well, then why don't you call me when you ain't got no class?
She's
Oh
like,
my
I win. And then it's just the interactions that go along with it. And then we have the son, and then we have Robert Downey Jr.'s character, and they're just dealing with their own like situations, just trying to get through class.
The son like has a love interest of his own with somebody named what's her name?
Veronica, Betty,
No. Oh man, it's not
Valerie.
showing up here. Valerie.
Valerie.
Yeah. And
And
So
she's,
you-
of course, with the asshole jock
Yeah.
Yeah.
diver, because he wants to be on the diving team. The
Which-
other guy is on the diving
played
team.
by, it's Chaz Osborne, which is played by William Zabka, the guy who plays the bad guy in Karate Kid.
Yeah, same
He
dude.
plays Johnny Lawrence. Yeah.
The Cobra Kai kid.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
He's Johnny Lawrence. Yeah.
Oh shit. Wow.
Which I was like, oh, nice. I forgot that he's in this movie.
And there's a scene I don't know if we talked about. Did we talk about? Because I was gone for a moment. Did we talk about when they go into the dorm and Rodney Dangerfield says, "Hey, I got to talk to you about my homework for the night or something." And he goes, "I'll talk to you in a minute." And they all walk in the doors, and he had his carpenters and team come in, knock down all of the walls so that they can have one giant dorm room.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And he's talking to the guy in the hallway, and he goes like, "Hey, bud, how's it going?" "Oh, good." And he's paying him, and he goes, "Hey, add on a couple of grand to the bottom line because I want you and the boys to have a party and buy something for your wife. You know what you got, Mr. Mellon? Class." It's a good scene. Oh man.
Like,
they all walk in the doors and it's one big room.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, holy shit. I'm like, imagine that. I would like that as a dorm.
And the son goes into the bathroom and he goes, "There's a hot tub in here." And he goes, "What? You can't study if you're not relaxed."
Oh man.
Oh god.
Also, as an aside, the amount of men wearing Speedos in this movie is beautiful. It's so many men in Speedos because they chose the diving team. And it's like, and not for nothing, there are men wearing Speedos in this movie that don't have any lines, and I'm proud of that. I'm happy. Because it's like, the casting call must have been, good-looking men that look good in Speedo, no lines, $50 a day. It's like, yeah, I fit that. Okay, good. It's the 80s, you know. Good. It's fine. And then, because I assume, that's my note. It was Speedos. Woof. And I was just like, oh, there must have been a scene where they were doing something in the diving area. Was it the scene where Robert? No, it's not. That's later. It was Rodney Dangerfield. He's diving with the son, and the coach comes along, and they talk about the triple Lindy.
Oh yeah.
Is it that scene?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because they're like, I knew. It's like, yeah. I'm like, who was the guy who did that triple Lindy, dude? Dude. He's like, who did the triple Lindy? He's like, yours truly. He's like, I haven't done it because I nearly died.
Yeah, that dive nearly killed me.
Yeah.
He's like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Who taught your son how to dive? Yours truly. Oh wow. You know, and then his son dives and it's like really good. And
it's like,
he goes,
he tried out last year, but he just wasn't that good. It's like, oh well, I'll show you that he's actually pretty good. Hey Jacob, how about you do a front somersault or something like that?
Do the 2.5.
And then he does
a 2.5, and he right in. He goes, not bad. So he's on the team. And Robert Downey Jr. a little bit. They leave the pool, and there's gonna be some kind of
pep rally or
like
something
a football pep rally, and Robert Downey Jr. comes running up, and he's wearing a football helmet with a rocket going through it, and he says, "We're pointing out we're having an anti-pep rally." And quote, "We're pointing out that a violent ground acquisition game such as football is, in fact, a crypto-fascist metaphor for nuclear war." And I just died. I was dead, D-E-D, dead. That was funny. And they're just like, okay, good luck. And the anti-pep rally consisted of them pouring paint on the football team. And then they just go to the bar afterwards. We don't get to see them pour paint on the football team, but the football team shows up to the bar. Rodney Dangerfield is at the bar because that's where the college students are, and he wants to see the college-age girls, which, granted, a little bit creepy, actually a lot of bit creepy, but for the point of the movie, because it's a comedy, he walks up to the bartender, orders a pitcher of beer, for him and Lou, and these two girls come up, and he goes, "Why don't you come join us?" And he takes the picture and the girls over to the table with Lou, and he goes, "This is Lou. He's an animal. You know, he's only the second generation walking straight up
in his family. He's only second
his family." And then the waitress comes by and he goes, "Waitress, bring me a pitcher of beer every 7 minutes until someone passes out, and then bring one every 10 minutes. Oh, and 2 glasses for the girls."
Oh God!
And then
Cue bar fight scene.
Oh yeah, it was when the guys, the football guys came in. The one that was painted. He's like, "Oh, the guy's over here. You can fight him." And then the dad's like, "Hey, you shouldn't be fighting him." Like, it's like whenever I'm like, I don't fight. I just get angry. But when I get angry,
he does the fighting.
It's like Lou's the one that fights.
Does the fighting. And Lou just gets up. He crushes a metal napkin dispenser in his hand. Just
walked up to the guy. It's like, "Are you gonna fight?"
Hey, what's going on here? No, man, we don't have a problem. Well, you're about to have a problem.
Punches him in the stomach, and then the whole bar fights. Like, blah, 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 blah.
Oh God!
And his Rodney Dangerfield's son Jacob is just with the girl that he likes underneath a table, and they're drinking a beer. The whole bar's in pandemonium. Robert Downey Jr. is getting tossed around. Like, he's not being beaten up. He's just getting thrown places. Yeah. And at one point, he pops up next to Lou and says, "Lou, where you been? I've been getting my ass kicked all over the place." Oh.
Damn.
Oh, it's such a good scene.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of fuck off. Like, the scene cuts. Like, they're done with it. And the next note I have is he hires, because midterms are coming up.
Oh, yeah.
And Rodney Dangerfield hires an entire team of people from his business to do his papers for him, including doing his English assignment, which is to write on Kurt Vonnegut. And he called Kurt Vonnegut to write for him. And then he has his secretary go to the business class as a stenographer to take notes. And by the way, Robin, that stenographer is from Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
Yes.
She's the rent-a-car person in that movie, and because Robin really likes Planes, Trains, and Automobiles,
yeah.
I'm gonna mention it.
Yes.
But then when he gets his grade back, when Rodney Dangerfield gets his grade back for the English class, the English professor fails him. He goes, "Why'd you fail me?" And she says, "Because it's not your work. And and even if it was your work, the person who wrote this doesn't know anything about Kurt Vonnegut."
Oh, yeah.
And so he calls Kurt Vonnegut up and he goes, "Let me tell you something, Vonnegut. Next time, I'm going to get somebody else. Fuck me. Well, you know what, Vonnegut? Do you read lips? Fuck you." And just hangs up the phone. That was so good. It was good writing. Just, this guy doesn't know anything about Kurt Vonnegut.
I like the transition, how like the room that I like the transition where like he gets the room and it transitions to looking like a business building. And one of the guys, he gives him like a midterm paper. He's like, this feels too light. It feels like a C. I need an A. I need this to be an A. He's like, and if y'all give me a A pluses on this one, I'll give you a trip to Hawaii.
In the off season. Yeah. Oh man. And so that causes tension, and this is actually important to the plot. So that causes that he that Rodney Dangerfield has hired this team of people causes tension between him and his son, because his son actually wants to go to college to actually learn something, to actually achieve something. And his dad's like, no, but I can just hire people. It's way better. And he goes, no, you're not getting anything out of this. And he storms out. And Rodney Dangerfield says, kids, they always want to do things the hard way. And then Rodney Dangerfield throws a party. So he throws a big party, and there's 3 girls, and he goes, I love 3 girls at once. If I fall asleep, you'll have someone to talk to. And then the cops show up with beer for the party. Oh, I think that might have been after.
Yeah, that was before he got in trouble with the English teacher, saying like, "Oh, this is not your paper." Because the business stuff and him hiring Van Gogh was before the party. Vonnegut. And then during the party, the teacher goes in because she wants to have fun, but then she sees him in the hot tub with the girls. He's under the water, and he's all like, "And that's what you call marine biology."
God damn it! Yeah.
And then
she shows up and she's disappointed because she's like, it doesn't bother me that you're emotionally stunted, or anything, but like she just leaves, and he's like, damn it, I actually liked her. And that's when you get the paper, and then he gets the paper back that says, the person who wrote this doesn't know anything about Kurt Vonnegut. Cut to a scene where Dean Martin, not Dean Martin, but the dean whose last name is Martin, says he needs to see him, Rodney Dangerfield, in the office. And Philip, the business professor, who's a prissy Englishman, says, you didn't write any of this. You had somebody else write it, and I want to fail you, and I want you thrown out of here. And the dean says, like, yeah, but he gave a lot of money. I don't think you understand how large the check was. And he goes, well, fine, I'll ask him. Mr. Mellon, did you write this yourself? And Rodney Dangerfield goes, I can't lie to you, Dean Mellon. Dean Martin, yes, I did.
Yes, I did.
And he goes, well, he said it, he wrote it. I asked him plainly, what do you want me to do about it? Torture him? I want to see oral examinations. If he did this as he says he did, he should surely be able to pass an oral exam with all of his professors. And Rodney Dangerfield's just like, oh, shit.
I gotta study or something.
Yeah, I gotta study. The study montage of this 1980s comedy is so good. Because
at first it was
it's like a 2-minute montage. It's pretty long.
Yeah, because at first he was giving up, but then he resolved the problem with him and his son, like what was going on, and so his son helps him to study. So it's a funny montage of him just going to the library. He lights up a candle to just read, and he's just reading all the way through.
No, in the library it's not a candle. He just pulls out a lighter from his pocket, and he's just holding the lighter while he's reading. He got to the library before the librarian opened it up, so he's sitting there reading. By the way, in the dark of the morning, she opens the library, he follows her in, he stays there all night, because this is montage, it's just cutting to things.
Yeah.
She cuts off the lights because she doesn't see he's there, and it's just pitch black, and he just, boom, lighter, and he keeps reading. Although I think we did skip over something. We'll get back to the montage. The montage is great, but one of the problems with the son is that he gets on the diving team, and the blonde guy Chaz says like, well, your dad fixed everything. He paid the coach to get you on the team. He probably paid the judges so that you do well. And he that mind fucks the son, so he screws up on the dive, and then he talks with his dad, and he's like, I didn't pay for nothing. You did all of it. I just, supported you. I was like, yeah, go Jacob. Mm-hmm. So then, okay, now they feel better. They're good. They fixed that, said earlier.
They had that conversation during the party, and the son was already drinking, and then he just ran off. And then
Yeah, then he runs off, and then it's after when they're gonna get he has to do the oral exam.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, "Well, I'm fucking done. I'm gonna leave." And then his son's like, "Oh no, it's fine. Like you're a melon. You know, you can do anything. You're a melon, right?" And he goes, "All right." Cue study scene. And like they do some goofy shit in this study scene. It's really good. It's so short, but it's gold.
Yeah.
Like there's one where he's making coffee. He's making coffee like it's instant coffee, and it's like he's preparing a tequila shot, and you're like, what? Okay, he's got hot water. He just got it off the stove, and it's in a kettle, so it's steaming hot, boiling water. And he's got a coffee mug. He pours the hot water in the coffee mug. He pours sugar on his hand over, like, right next to his thumb. Yeah. And he grabs the container of instant coffee, pours some into his mouth, licks the sugar, and downs the hot water, and then drinks that, and just like looks like he's dying for a moment.
So what I like is where during the montage, I like the one where he's like half asleep with a coffee in his hand, and he still has his clothes on while he's taking a shower, and he's just reading, but he's like slowly falling asleep.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's such a good scene.
And then we get to the oral report.
Yeah, and Dean Martin goes, well, you know, like, Mr. Mellon, we're happy to be here. And I would just want to say that, make the comment that Thornton Mellon has paid for the School of Business. And then he starts clapping, and everybody else doesn't clap.
Sparse clapping.
Like, yeah, it's so sparse. But it was a big check.
I think it's funny that Martin's the only one that's standing up and clapping.
Yeah, well, because he doesn't give a shit about the integrity of education. It was a big check.
A big check.
I'm not so sure you know how big the check was. And then the first professor to give the exam is, of course, Philip, the business professor. And he goes, why don't you go first? And he goes, I have just one question for Mr. Mellon in 27 parts.
I'll break you in 27 parts.
yeah. And he goes, what did you say? Oh, nothing. Nothing. And Rodney Dangerfield is sitting, like, it's a dais of the professors, and they are like a mile away from him. They are so far away from where the desk is that Rodney Dangerfield's sitting in, and he is like falling asleep. And he's like been up for so long trying to study. He's like falling asleep in the chair, and they go, Mr. Mellon, and he wakes up and he just yells, the Council of Trent. And they go, Mr. Mellon? He goes, I'm sorry, I thought I missed a question. He goes, we're just starting. And it's 27 parts of business theory, and it's like, oh, it's dense. It's a really good scene with him because he like lays into like all of this incredibly dense and like sub-paragraphed multi-part questioning. And at the end, he just goes like, in the answer to subsection 27, Roman numeral 2, part C, the answer is and then they go, Mr. Mellon, and then Dean Martin goes, Mr. Mellon, and Sam Kinnison's character goes, hey, we put this guy under a lot of pressure, okay? So, Mr. Mellon, whenever you're ready, you can give the answer. Say it! Say it! And he goes, the answer is 4? And it's right! I fucking love Sam Kinison. Say it! So good.
Oh my fucking god.
And then it's the English teacher, right?
Yeah.
Who, by the way, was part of the montage scene because he goes to her and he like apologizes and shit, and like she's reading him poetry. They're like hugging, but they have their arms holding up books behind each other's heads, and they're both reading. He's reading like stock market law, and she's reading him poetry at the same time, right? Because it's like they're both studying that much. Okay, so she just walks right up to him, and he's like dying. He's like, I'm done. I'm over. I gotta go. I'm gonna die. This is too much. And she like pours him a glass of water, walks over to him, the mile away that he is. He's so far away. Like, and he's like, and she just goes like, do you remember when we read, do not go into that good night?
Yeah.
What's the poem? The do not go gentle. Do not go gentle into that good night by Dylan Thomas. Okay.
Yeah.
And he goes, yes, no, maybe, I don't know. He goes, come on, think. And so he starts to recite "Do not go gentle into that good night," which is actually a beautiful piece of poetry. Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rave at close of day. Rage against the dying of the light. And he like goes on, and it's really a beautiful piece of poetry. I recommend the viewers right now read it sometime. But anyway, he gets through with it. And he said, and the last part is like, brave men near death who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray. Do not go gentle into that good night. Nice. Rage against the dying of the light. And she says, what does that mean to you? He goes, it means I don't take shit from no one. And she goes, yes. And like, that's it. That's her exam. Like, yes. And like, then he leaves there. He's done with the oral exams. It just kind of cuts. And we get to
the diving competition.
Yeah, the diving. And they're in the stands, and it's Robert Downey Jr. and Lou. and Robert Downey Jr. Leans over to Lou, and he just goes, you know what they never really expect anyone to do? No one ever expects you to heckle divers. And he pulls an air horn from his coat pocket right as one of the guys from the other school is about to dive, and it just goes, and he fucks up the dive and just tumbles into the water. Just for like 1.5, 2, 2.5, and the announcer's like, if the fans in the stands could refrain from using loud noises during the dive, that would be appreciated. And he goes, okay. And another guy's from the enemy school, the rivals, I guess. He pulls out a little mirror from his pocket and like shines a bright light into the guy's eyes, and he screws up his dive, and he hits it 2, 2.5, 3, and it's just and then Lou turns to him and he goes, you're all right, kid. Oh,
you're right, kid. And then they finally get to see his son watch the performance, and then he gets like 9, and then he gets a 10 because he does like the half dive. The blonde guy's jealous, so he's like, oh shit. So he pretends that his leg, he got a cramp all week and shit. He
became a pussy just like that. He's
Yeah.
just like, oh no, I can't do it. Oh no, I'm getting a cramp. I've been getting cramps all week.
And they're like, who's your substitute? And it's like, oh, and they're like, they get Rodney Dangerfield, like, hey, get over here.
Melon, we need you.
Get your suit on.
He's like Rodney Dangerfield like points to himself and he's like, Me? He goes, we need you, Melon! And then he goes over to the coach, goes over to the judges, and he's like, well, you'll find that he's on my substitute list, but I don't have that on me right now. But I'll get it for you. And it's like Rodney Dangerfield comes trotting out, and he's thankfully not wearing a Speedo like all of the other boys.
Yeah.
He's wearing like trunks, and it looks like he's wearing a swimsuit from the 30s, you know. And he just comes jogging out and like waving to everybody. And the judges look at the coach and they go, "What dive is he gonna do?" And the coach is just like, "The triple Lindy." And then, so Rodney Dangerfield's older and chubby, and like, because it's the 80s, they don't have like, you know, CGI, so they just substitute the scene with another person, but it's clearly a different person in a wig. And so like he gets up, Rodney Dangerfield's on the top diving board, and he licks his thumb and like tests the wind and goes to jump, cut to a completely different person doing the triple Lindy, where you bounce on the top diving board, you bounce on the second highest diving board, you bounce on the third highest diving board, you do like a triple flip or something, and then you land in the water in a perfect dive, and then it's just Rodney Dangerfield going, "Hey!" like he did it, and everyone goes,
And
10,
they're like,
10, 10.
And then he meets the English teacher lady, and she's like, "Oh, I got the results." It's like, "What are them? Just tell me, woman. You got all D's and 1A." I just like I like how the results weren't A's. It was just like D's, all straight D's.
D for diploma.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they do the they're like, "Yay!" And then it ends with the graduation going on.
Yeah. But it's not even like their graduation. He's just the guest speaker.
Yeah.
Never before have we had a freshman give the graduation speech. And he's like, you know, this is the easy part. Go home. Let your parents worry about it. The world sucks. And everyone's like, "Hey!" And then they throw their hats, cue him free-framing with a spit-ass look on his face, just, ah!
Thumbs up.
And Respect by Aretha Franklin.
And then Respect by Aretha Franklin. It's just good. So,
back to school.
Edgar?
Yeah, I'll give my rating first this time, I guess. Overall, this was a really, really fun time. I honestly wasn't, like, at first I wasn't expecting a lot because I didn't know about Back to School. But then watching it, like, Rodney Dangerfield, his whole performance was just like the highlight of the entire film. Every time he was on screen, he just nailed it. He was hilarious through and through. We didn't even go through everything he did. Like, we didn't go through the monkey stuff that he was doing, or just bits and pieces. It's more of, you just got to go watch it for yourself, and just I guarantee you would have a blast. There are some jokes that are a bit dated, like they wouldn't pass through like nowadays, but it doesn't diminish my entertainment with this film. There were some still acting, mainly just from the love interest of Melon's son. There were some lines that were like, "Oh, you could have done better with it," but she was very little. She wasn't really that much into the movie. It was really about her. But I honestly, I would give for right now, I would give this movie a 4 stars out of 5. It's probably, it probably would go higher from a second viewing, but as it stands right now, I would give the movie a 4 stars out of 5. Will, your overall thoughts and ratings?
I love the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I love the movie. It's so fun. Okay, like, I'll be the first to say, it's the 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's some things that, like, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that, right? But there's This movie's, if I can turn into Stefan for a second, not Robin's brother, but from SNL. This movie's got everything. Boys in Speedos, Rodney Dangerfield, Paulie from Rocky, lots of beer, an English twink. It's got everything, right? It's really good. And, like, it's hilarious. There's smart comedy in here.
Oh yeah.
Like you have to know some things to get some of these jokes, but then there's also just like the dumb scenes where like they're doing dumb jokes and it's like it's still funny. Sam Kinison kills it. Rodney Dangerfield kills it. Lou is great. I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars because it's just one of those movies that I've seen it before. I've seen it before a lot.
Yeah.
And I still find it good. So that's where I'm at.
Nice.
And also you get to like this is kind of a star-studded cast. It's got Rodney Dangerfield, Ned Beatty is the Dean Martin. I mean, you know, and then Robert Downey Jr. and like Paxton Whitehead, who plays Philip Barbie, Dr. Philip Barbie.
Yeah.
He's like, he was nominated for a Tony in 1980.
Oh damn.
Like he's like a good actor, you know, on the stage and such. Like there's a lot of people in this movie who were like big name. Kurt Vonnegut showed up. You know. Anyway, it's a good movie. 4.5 stars. Highly recommend.
Nice. And Robin?
No, yeah, like this is one of my favorite 80s movies. Like I love Rodney Dangerfield and just his comedy in general, so just having a movie where he's like the main character is just fucking great. I love him in Caddyshack. He's fucking hilarious in Caddyshack. And yeah, no, like this, and like, yeah, Will said it best. This movie has fucking everything in it, and it's just it's such a great movie. I would have to give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. Also, it's just really good comedy.
Nice, very nice. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're not done yet. We got one more segment we gotta do, as always, which is our untitled segment idea. So without further ado, welcome to the untitled segment idea. We last started out.
This is the untitled segment ideas.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
We started off with last episode, I believe we started with Robin, I believe. So
Yeah.
Will, what have you recently played, watched, seen, etc., etc., etc.?
Okay. So I have to do a couple of things here, all right?
Yes.
I got to shout out to my friend Carl from Denmark, who bought me a game called Uncle Neighbor, which is a gay dating sim, and it is, and I cannot stress this enough, 18 and older.
Whoa.
So, if you've ever seen a Dream Daddy dating simulator, this is better than that. This is this pulls no punches in dating. It has everything, everything, even that too, that thing. Okay, I'll say it. It shows the f***ing. Okay, it shows the f***ing, and it shows the scenes. And it's surprisingly good. The characters have, like, they're real people.
Damn.
They're like actual people with like personalities, and you like some of them and you don't like others, but it's part of the storyline to like talk to all of them. And like Carl just bought it for me. He was playing it himself. I was talking to him about it, and he bought me this game.
Nice.
And one of the reasons why it's important that I'm talking about this game is because I never would have bought it for myself. Carl bought it for me, so I was like, I have to play it. But also because Carl right now is recovering from, he had a surgery, and so he's not going to be able to play the game for a while. So I'm going to have to keep playing the game because I enjoy the game. It's really fun and cute. But also because I got to like update him on the game. To be like, hey, when you date this person, these things happen and this happens and it's fun. So like, this is a first for me, and it's like it's a Japanese. If Carl were here, he could tell it's like a Japanese. It was a Japanese game, so it's like it's in that it's in like an anime styled artwork, and it's really nice. And I never would have bought this game. This is not like my wheelhouse of games, but I was like, oh, well, Carl bought it for me, so I gotta play it. That's the rules. If someone gives you a gift, you have to play it. Yeah. And it's strangely enjoyable. I really like it. A lot of the characters are cute.
Nice. And, you know, of course, shout out to Carl. Hope you get better, dude. Hope you get better,
Yeah, let's
Carl.
get some hearts in the chat for Carl.
Give some good hearts to Carl, guys. Give some good hearts for Carl. Hopefully hopefully he gets better soon and he recovers from everything, you know? Because we all care for each other here, so shout out to give big hearts to Carl. We love you, Carl. We love you, Carl. So, of course, Robin, what have you recently played, watched, seen, etc., etc., etc.?
Well, I've been watching. I've been watching a James Bond binge, and I'm on the movie "The World Is Not Enough," which is it's the second to last Pierce Brosnan Bond film. And all I can say is, I mean, it's fine. I mean, it gets like there's some good Bonds from Pierce Brosnan and some good Bonds from different Bonds that you have. The one thing it does, like, it's a good movie for a Bond film. But there was one scene that was just kind of like, what the fuck? Why the hell did this happen? So like after MI6 gets like destroyed from a terrorist attack, they're at the MI6 headquarters in Scotland trying to come up with a plan, and James Bond's arm is like dislocated. So he's trying to get it relocated. He got it relocated by the nurse there, and like out of nowhere, like the nurse is like he starts hitting on the nurse, and the nurse is saying like, you better call me next time, and he starts like undressing her, and they just fucking like just do it right there on the doctor table, and it's like, okay, then we cut to the next scene of him popping into to where Q is to look at the next gadgets, and it's like, what the fuck? Wait, why did that just happen? That was just a pointless scene.
No, it wasn't pointless. It was James Bond having sex.
Anyway, like that was the one part that just was just like, what? It just like throws you off. It's like, what the fuck? Okay, that just happened.
That's weird. That's weird.
I stopped because then we had the show, so I'm not done with it yet. I have this one, then what, I forgot what the next one was that had Halle Berry in it. Hang on.
Berry.
Pierce Brosnan Bond movies. It was his last one. Die Another Day from 2002.
Wow.
So that was his last Bond film before Daniel Craig came into the scene. So I have Die Another Day left, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, Skyfall, and Spectre. In my I have a Blu-ray set of all the Bond films up to Spectre. So
wait, what year did that that last movie come out? The last one he's in?
2002.
No, that's not the last James Bond movie he's in, because he plays James Bond in it was a 2008 it was a jukebox musical. Oh, Mamma Mia. Yeah, he was in Mamma Mia, and he gets to date Meryl Streep.
I always like to say, for some reason, that every time I see all these other actors in other films after Bond, it's like, oh no, that's because there's that whole theory that James Bond is a code name for when you become 007, hence why there are different Bonds throughout like the 60s and 70s, and 80, up until this point.
Yeah.
And that's just a theory, and I like to think that all the Bonds that have that when they have movies afterwards, like, oh, that's still James Bond. He's just no longer called James Bond. He goes by different aliases in these different movies. Which I don't know. I just think it's kind of funny just to think of that. And it's like, oh, okay. And then I like to think that because they also the Daniel Craig Bond kind of ruins that theory a little bit, because they kind of make Daniel Craig as as a young Bond, like he's just starting to do the job. Because in Skyfall, he goes to visit his parents' grave, which end with the name Bond. So it's like, oh, so then that kind of ruins the theory. Unless you want to say that Daniel Craig's Bond is the first Bond, and whatever's going to happen in Die Another Day, or whatever this new one's, No Time to Die, that's the new one that's coming out next year. That's going to, I have a theory that Daniel Craig's Bond is going to die, and then that's when they're going to introduce that we're going to make the code name will be James Bond, in respect to him. And the reason why I'm saying that is because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen Skyfall, Judi Dench's M dies, and then she's replaced by Ralph Fiennes as a new male M. And they're also no longer in the old MI6 headquarters, because it was destroyed in Skyfall. They're now back in the MI6 headquarters that was in the 1960s, like Sean Connery Bond, where it's like in the office building. So
whack.
That's why I'm saying it's starting to kind of correlate to that. Maybe that's.
Fun fact, I will say I've never seen any of the Bond movies.
Well, I got a whole fucking Blu-ray thing. When I'm done, you can watch all of them.
Nice. I'll probably do, because I do want to watch the Bond movies, see what they're about. Because it's a very iconic franchise itself.
My favorite Sean Connery one is Goldfinger. Favorite Roger Moore is A View to a Kill. Favorite Timothy Dalton one is Living Daylights. Favorite Pierce Brosnan is Goldeneye, and so far favorite Daniel Craig is Skyfall.
Nice.
So
nice.
George Lazenby is good, but he's only been in one film. But he's a pretty good Bond. It's just there was some background stuff that led to him getting sacked really quick. So yeah.
Nice.
That's what I have.
Nice.
All right.
Oh, me. Oh yeah, me. Forgot. So as I said before, I was playing Spider-Man PS4. I 100% completed the DLC. Haven't finished the.
Nice.
Haven't 100% completed the main story because I was too focused on finishing the main stories itself instead of all the side quests and stuff. But after that, I'm like, you know what? Let me just start it, because I did have The Last of Us with me. So I started playing The Last of Us. That's what I've been playing recently. And it's pretty good so far. The beginning of it does hit real hard, because I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah, the first one is really good.
Mm-hmm. So far, I'm like, wow. It's like I haven't gone real through it. I'm still I want to say I'm still around the beginning, nowhere near the middle of the movie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Yeah.
You gotta keep playing it.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at. So I'm just it's I'm having a good time. It's I'm trying to get used to like the controls and how it plays because I'm so used to playing Spider-Man itself like that. So
Yeah.
But I would say I'm having a good time with that one. I'm doing fun. I've also been watching just because I'm like, you know what, it's on Netflix now, might as well watch it, which is the Dave Chappelle Show. So
Yeah.
I've been watching that. I'm still on season 1. I think I'm almost finished with the first season. Just a couple of more episodes, and it's pretty funny. It's got some funny moments in there that are like a lot of people talk about still. I'm like, nice. We should say, if you haven't seen the Dave Chappelle Show or you haven't played Last of Us, go watch it or go play it. You know, it's good stuff, and and of course, with that, we finished the Untitled segment idea, and of course, we're gonna say goodbye. But
now, next week. On Tuesday.
Yes.
So this is going to be different from the normally scheduled program, everybody.
Because
normally we're a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday podcast, depending on how we can make it run.
Yeah.
Now, next week for the pre-Thanksgiving show, it's going to be Thanksgiving. You're working on cooking. You got to see family. You got to do all these things. You want to relax, listen to a podcast. So we're going to be live on the 24th. That's a Tuesday. That's next Tuesday. We're going to be doing the double feature of Harlem Nights.
Yeah.
Which is Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor. And we're also going to watch The Stuff, which is from '85. And The Stuff is a satirical science fiction horror movie. And it's supposed to be hilarious. I've read a little bit about it, and maybe more than I should have. But it's supposed to be really funny.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do a double feature on that. So you're gonna get us for a pretty good, pretty long show there.
Mm-hmm. Maybe more than this one here.
Yeah, and then we're off for a little bit, because we've got the holidays, right?
Yeah.
But we're gonna be coming back at you. We're gonna come right back at you in December.
Yeah.
We don't know what days. We don't. We're figuring that out. But we're gonna take a little bit of a break. And then we might be with you on the 4th of December or the 5th or maybe the 11th. It all kind of depends.
Yeah.
But that's why we're hitting you with a double feature before.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. That's what's happening, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Those are the
Robin?
Why are you cutting to me?
I don't know. Sometimes I just cut to you. I guess we're not ready to cut to you. Oh, shit, Edgar in the studio?
Yes. Yeah, so make sure if you haven't followed on the Twitch right now, make sure to follow 50 followers and we'll finally get Will to play Minecraft with us. And if you come in the stream late,
we're going to play some Minecraft.
But if you are not able to watch the streams at these times or you can't catch it, go check our YouTube. We got a YouTube right there. We got 41 subscribers. Just give us a like, give us a subscribe, put on the comments on our videos of what you like and what you think of it. Give us comments, anything, and we'll try to reply to them if we can. Just all the jazz. And if you want to keep up on dates and find stuff, join the Discord, join the lot of fun. We have a community to go in and we're trying to grow the community. We also have the Facebook page, we got Twitter, we got Twitter and we got Facebook page. We got those there, and if you go follow those, that's where you'll get news of when we're live or when the next show is going to be. And Discord, that's where you get it as well, but you probably will get that news early on Discord. So that's why if you join the Discord, you get the stuff early and you get the little bonuses like the movie nights. And
also dank memes.
And dank memes, yeah. Dank memes. So yeah, just follow, subscribe, all the nice jazz. And with that out of the way, we love you all. Thank you all for coming back. Thank you all for being here. We hope to see you next week on Tuesday, 3 p.m. for the double feature. And we hope to see you at the Discord this weekend. We love you all, and goodbye. Bye-bye. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Ghost.
Quick.
Oh my God. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.